Hi guys, it's Nancy and I'm back with the new Foilables from Pink and Maine and their new Cheer foil. Love the name, love the name. So we're going to show you how easy it is to make a card today using these two products. Now, you will need a couple additional products. A nice soft brush, or your dusty brush we're going to call it. And then you're going to want either the Mink or you're going to want a laminator. Now, if you're going to use a laminator, you want to let your laminator heat up for at least 30 minutes. On a Mink, you might want to start at 2 and work your way up to 3. I'm going to start with 3 today, okay? Now, if you don't know what a Mink machine is, you're definitely going to look into investing in one. So what a Mink machine does is it creates better foiled images, and that's because a laminator only has 2 rollers in it, and a Mink is specially designed for foiling, and it has 4 rollers in it. And as you can see, you have different heat settings. So you can go from 0, which is no heat, all the way up to 5, which is super high heat, and it will turn green. Now, a little birdie told me if you guys wait just a couple of weeks, there may be a new Mink machine coming out. So I'm going to say stay tuned for that. But if you already have a Mink or a laminator, you'll be able to do this project. And if you're looking to buy a Mink, just give me 2 more weeks and I think I'll have something new to show you guys. All right. That's all I'm going to give you. That's all the juicy tidbits you're going to get. So I have that off to the side. Now, these come very nicely packaged from Pink and Maine, and what I have done is I cut the top off, okay? If you don't know what a foilable is, it's exactly what the name says. These are high-quality toner printed images, and you want to keep them free from dust. Keep them in their original storage bag by cutting off the top. I don't jeopardize this sticky part of the packaging getting stuck on my toner, and I can keep the name on there if I want to reorder. And this is the mandalas, and it has 2 designs, so we're going to foil both of these designs so you can see what they look like, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a card. Now, these are high quality toner printed. You can always print your own from home if you have a laser printer and you have some beautiful designs. But I know a lot of people don't have the time, the space, the budget for a laser printer. Totally understandable. Then you want to use Pink and Maine Cheer foil. Now, Cheer foil is toner foil, not hot foil. So you don't want to use foil from your glimmer machine, your Go Press and foil, your foil press. That's a different kind of foil. That is called hot foil, and it's not going to work here. So you want to use their Cheer foil, which is transfer foil, okay? So this one is called Amethyst, and I've already cut a piece of that, and you're just going to take your scissors and cut it. And here is the secret. And by the way, all of these instructions are on the back of a full-size foilable worksheet. So it tells you here, cut out your pre-printed image or use it as is. You're going to put it in a carrier sheet or a transfer folder or folded parchment or copy paper. I'll get back into that in just a second. You want a piece of foil to fit over your graphic. You want it to be a little larger because as the foil starts to stick, it shrinks a little bit, okay? And this is my favorite tip, the number 1 tip I tell you guys all the time. Dusty. It makes a difference, okay? Then we're going to lay the foil on top of our graphic, always color side up, and then we're going to run it through our Mink or laminator, let it cool down, and then we're going to reveal the goodies, okay? So, step 1, pick our image. We're not going to cut anything out. We like it like this. I'm going to start with this one for now. Okay, and you definitely want a dusty. Now, what this does is we're crafters. So what happens is we have embossing powder, glitter, dust, hair, pet hair, things like that get all over our desk, right? So we want to dust just very gently to make sure none of those particles are on our image. The other side you want to do is dust the back of your foil. So this is the silver side of the foil. And then we're going to have the colored side up. So we want this silver side to transfer onto our image. So it's always going to be colored side facing you when you're doing this kind of foiling, okay? Then we have a carrier sheet. If you are using a Mink, they have special carrier sheets. If you are using a laminator, a folded piece of copy paper or parchment paper works great. But in a Mink machine, you want to use the Mink transfer folders. Now I'm just going to put that all in there. So I have my foil colored side up. The silver side is touching my image. Everything is fully covered, so nothing is exposed. And then I'm going to take the folded side of my carrier sheet, whether you're using paper or transfer folder, and I'm going to feed it in. And as I feed it in, I'm going to hold this side up. I want to make sure it's directly in the middle of my machine, and I'm just going to guide it through. Every once in a while, if you let go of this too soon, the folder goes down and it gets pinched in the back here. Mine almost started to do that. See that corner started to fold? And that's how transfer folders get chewed up. So you want to just help guide that through until you see it come through the other end. Once you see it come through the other end, you're going to let it do its process. It is a slow process because what's happening is the rollers are rolling through the top and the bottom, and they're also heating. The heating process melts the toner, which is the black printed area here. That melts. You can see that it's a little bit raised. And what it does then is it grabs the foil. As it cools down, they become embedded into each other. So the foil embeds into the toner. You want to let this fully cool. You do not want to rip that right off. I know it's exciting, but if you rip it right off, you're going to damage that adhesion process. Okay, so we're just going to let this cool down. While that cools down, we're going to cut another one. We're going to do the other mandala. This color is called Cobalt Blue. These rolls are 6¼ inches long, and you have 25 feet of foil. So plenty of foil to last you quite a while. Okay, you can use these foils with two-way glue. You can use them with the Decofoil Duo transfer paste through stencils. You can use it with tape. You can use it with any of those things. So you don't have to use this with heat. It's a transfer foil, so you can use it for any of those things. I'm just going to eyeball and measure out, and I just use scissors. Now, I do recommend a dedicated pair of scissors that you only use for cutting your foil so that they don't get sticky and get any residue on them. And you do want to make sure you keep your foil stored where it's, again, safe from dust, moisture, pets, kids. And you want to make sure that they stay in these boxes so that none of that can mess up the foil. The foil is very delicate and it scratches easy. So if it's in an area where it gets exposed to dust, you can see how easily I was able to scratch that. And then what happens is the foil won't stick to wherever your image is. All right, so let's talk about the steps again. We're going to pick our image and our foil. We want to dusty our image. I want you to hear my voice in your head when you're doing this. Dusty. And then you dust the back of the foil. Dusty. And then we're going to place the foil color side up on top of our image. Place it in our parchment paper, transfer folder. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how you put it in there. Make sure there's no bumps and lumps. Smooth it out. You don't want any wrinkling of the foil. If this goes in there and it's kind of bunched up, you need to make sure it's smooth. Folded side goes in. We want to make sure we are centered when we put it in, and we want to hold that as we feed it through. Okay, you can use the small Mink, you can use the large 12-inch Mink, you can use a laminator. Now, I will warn you, not all laminators heat the same way. The laminators that I recommend is the Amazon Basics laminator or the Swing Line laminator. You want to let them heat up for 30 minutes. They don't always get hot enough and they don't always provide enough pressure. So if you are struggling, you're doing all of these steps, but you're using a laminator, like I know some of the Scotch laminators don't work great, and you're not getting the results you want, you're going to want to keep an eye out for the new Mink that's coming out. All right, so we're going to let that cool down. While that's cooling down, let's reveal. Now, to reveal, you're just going to pull one corner of the foil slowly towards you. And look at these amazing results. That is fully foiled, okay? And you'll notice I don't have any black spots. Black spots are caused when you don't, when you don't have a high quality printed toner image, when you're not using the best quality foils, and you don't dust, and you don't get enough pressure from your machine. That's when the black spots show up. If you are foiling correctly, you don't need anything else to make sure those black spots are gone. Gorgeous. We're going to make that into a card. I also want you to save this because I'm going to show you how you can use these leftover foil pieces, or what we call waste foil. So we're going to put that aside just a second. Okay. The next piece we're going to reveal here is the first one was amethyst purple. The second one is called cobalt blue. It's nice and cool now. And again, we're going to gently pull that back. And stunning results. You guys, these are high quality toner printed images made in the US. Okay, now I noticed I have a little bit of overfoiling here, or what I call foil flaking. You guys may not even be able to see it. It's right there. Okay, you're just going to take a little bit of a stiffer brush and you're just going to knock that foil off. That happens when an image is really tight and that foil wants to just release right away. So all we're going to do there is just take a stiffer brush, like a stencil brush, and just gently rub over, and you'll see that those foiling flakes kind of dust right off. Okay? Very, very easy to do. All right, now you want to know how we make this a card. So I'm going to show you how to make 4 cards here today. And these 2 are going to be the easiest. So I have 2 card bases. I have just black cardstock. This is regular cardstock I've cut down. So my card bases are cut down to A2 size, which is 5.5 by 4 1/4. My black paper is cut down to 5.5 by 4 1/4. And I'm just using some adhesive here. You can use any adhesive you have. And this is going to be my matte layer. So I'm just going to put this down on my card. Looks like my card is a little big on that one. I might have to trim it down. Now, if you hear a little bit of clicking from your ink machine or your laminator, that is perfectly normal. And it's okay to let it run. It's not going to hurt anything. Now, I would just be careful if you do have any small children or pets around, because the top of that can get pretty warm. But actually, this is pretty safe to do with kids as long as you're supervising them. So, simple card base made out of heavy cardstock. I would say 100-pound cardstock. Doesn't matter what kind you use. Doesn't have to be any special paper. Okay, and then I have my card base. Now all I'm going to do is take my panels, and I think you figured it out. These panels are sized to be 4 by 5 1/4. So they are the perfect matte layering size. You can certainly put them right on the card, or you have this nice little border if you cut your paper straight, and it doesn't look mine's cut straight, but yours would be cut straight. And there's card number 1. So very simple. We're going to repeat the process for card number 2. Now you don't need to do anything to seal these. The foil will stay on the card. You don't have to do anything special. You can choose to color it if you want to. If you wanted to add a little bit of color pencil or something like that. Yeah, my paper is definitely not cut to the correct size here. Okay, that's good enough. My black mat, I mean, okay? So there's 2 easy cards, right? But we're not done. I told you we're going to make 4 cards today. And I told you don't forget about that waste foil. So let's bring that back in. And how do we use these, right? We have a beautiful blue one and a beautiful amethyst one. So we have what are called toner sheets. Okay, so if you've ever wondered what these are, here are some black Foilables toner sheets, and you use these the same way, but you're going to use these on the waste foil. Now you can foil and die cut these. You can use them with the waste foil. There you can see I just remembered to cut the top off. And again, on these larger Foilables, all the instructions are on the back there. Okay, now these are 8.5 by 5.5. So these are card front sizes. I'm just going to take one. And again, this is delicate because this is toner printed on here. This is not just regular black cardstock. And I'm going to cut this in half. So I'm going to cut this at 4 1/4. Okay, so 2 card front sizes. Now these are a little thinner, so you do want to use a heavy card base when you're using these. They're not as thin as the deco foil ones. And we're going to dusty that. Dusty the back of our foil. Okay, and we want to line this up. The black side touches the silver side of the foil. And I want to make sure I have that lined up pretty correctly there, pretty straight. I can look through my image here and make sure that everything is lined up correctly. And the same process. We are going to run this through our ink or our laminator. I'm going to go this way. Smooth it out. Make sure we don't have any bumps or lumps. Make sure everything is covered. And we want to make sure none of that black toner is exposed, that everything is covered by foil. And again, the folded side goes into the machine. And we're going to prepare this one the same way while we wait for that one to go in. So dusty, dusty the back of our foil. Dusty, dusty our toner sheet. And again, we're going to line that foil up to the toner sheet. We want to make sure that it is completely covered. Put that in our protective folder. And this protective folder just makes sure that everything stays together when it goes through the machine. Okay. You don't use these folders in a laminator. You just use folded parchment paper or folded copy paper in a laminator. So you can see how that just feeds right through. And again, I want to keep this, just leave it alone until it cools down. You'll feel that the warmth goes away from it pretty easily, the heat. And as that one's going through, we can reveal this one. And you can see we have a beautiful transfer of that purple foil that we used to make this card now has transferred here. So now that has the whole waste foil, as they call it, is now on here. Pretty simple, okay? So this can now be thrown away. It is completely used. You really don't need any of this. So we're going to throw that out. We're going to let this blue one cool down. And again, it's very important to let it cool down. If you peel too soon, the foil will not adhere properly. Okay, here's the blue one. Beautiful. Okay, you see how beautiful they both foiled. Stunning, very, very easy to do. Now we're going to put these on card bases. Now you can, if you have them lined up straight, go right to the card. For this one, I'm not going to do the black matte layer. I'm going to leave it white. And I'm just going to cut this down to 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm going to make sure that this edge is straight. All right, that's pretty straight for that one. Let's do this one. Okay, I think I'm pretty close on having those both cut pretty straight. And And then the same thing, we're just gonna adhere them to our card bases. And out of 2 foilable panels, this is the mandala set. Again, you get 2 designs. You get both of these designs. And then some black toner sheets. I'm able to make 4 cards very easily. No ink, no mess, no extra equipment other than a laminator or a ink machine. And there are a lot of companies out there that have toner art. But I think, you just need to find a company that has some good quality designs that you're going to like. Oh, that's definitely cut crooked, but that's okay. So now we have 4 cards. Hopefully you guys can see how easy this was to do. You're going to pick your design. You're going to pick your foil. You're going to do a little dusty. You're going to run it through your ink machine or your laminator machine. Let it cool down. And then you have some cards. So hopefully you have learned something on this video if you're new to foiling, or if you were just looking for some new toner art designs. You can get these from Pink and Main. I will put the link down below for you guys. If you have any questions, post them down below. Everything will be in the description. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and keep on foiling. Bye-bye.